What you focus on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lady K Chat podcast. You are here with your favorite host, Lady K. And for those who are tuning in for the very first time, I am the one who don't hold her back. I will speak that fire truth, but I do it with love and grace. And before we get into today's show, I have to let you know that today's show is sponsored by Lady K Enterprises. We are a financial service firm in which we can help you to start your business, to help you get assistance in your business by hiring a virtual assistant, all the way to getting your finances in order. But today's show is called Roses. It's always a beautiful thing when you give people the privilege to give them their roses. So I want to start by saying happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And I want everyone to help me give a warm welcome to my sister in love, Miss Stefania, the CEO of the Sistership Network. Welcome.
Thank you, Lady K. I love you. Your energy, girl. That gives me energy in life. I'm giving you the roses right now, okay?
Thank you. Let me tell you something. You gotta appreciate those who give you that fuel. Sometimes it might come in a negative way, but they don't even know, like, Dad, I'm gonna take that negative into a positive and I'm gonna run with it. I always said, I love Beyonce's quote. She said, the best revenge is your paper. And to not let people know that they bother you. So I just have to say that.
Yes, absolutely. Just keep it moving.
Absolutely. So, Steph, I just said, I want to give the mothers, a nice Mother's Day, right? But then I also thought about this too, even though the mothers are undeserving, but it's like, why only give the mother their roses one day out the year? Let's talk about that. Why do people just get so, we are mothers 365.
Yeah.
And even for people like yourself who may not be a biological mom, but you still step in and help out. Like, we got to talk about this. It bothers me a little bit, Yeah. Let's talk about that stuff.
I'm sure as a mother, and, again, to your point, I don't have biological children, and I want to say happy Mother's Day to everybody as well. And I'm going to say it just like you said, it's not just mothers who bore children. It's mothers, those who have mother instincts and play a role of a mother, whether it's an auntie, grandmother, whatever have you, because we got a lot of nanas out there taking care of their grandkids. So let's give them a shout out as well. I know they got their own holiday, but you know what? It's 24/7. I'm just gonna say that. But you make a good point, and you know what? I had to really take a step back myself and think about that because obviously I have a mother. And you're right. I have 3 sisters, 11 nieces and nephews, all have children, except for me. So, when I think about the struggle, the pain, the love, just everything that a mother gives to a child and those who play that role, it is 365. It's 24/7. You come home, you're doing things for your kids. And I think what happens is because it's so commercialized, let's talk about commercializing holidays.
Yes.
The same with Christmas. It's the same. It's a lot of holidays are commercialized. It's about acknowledging that one day when we really should be acknowledging it 365 because, it's the same with any other holiday. When it comes to a mother, she's a mother 24/7. And I think that I don't think it's not out of ill will of people. I just think that when you take a step back and think about it, do we really acknowledge our mothers on a daily basis? The things that they do for us. Do we say thank you?
Yes.
It's back in the day, that was the thing. You say thank you for everything. Someone gives you something, you say thank you, respond in kindness. Mothers aren't perfect.
Yes,
mothers are not perfect. But at the end of the day, they're there. If it's, I saw a TikTok video about a man talking about a mother and a son, and it's going all over TikTok. And it really brought the children tears in their eyes because they had to think about what he was saying about mothers. Your mother's there for you 24/7. When you're hurting, your mother's the first one to kiss you on the knee and take care of you. When, when you're hungry, she's the one feeding you. It's all these things, and it's disheartening
Right.
that we don't give our roses, and it's the symbolism, not so much the physical element of roses. The
Right.
symbolism is so important to acknowledge on a daily basis. And we don't do enough of it, and we should. We really should.
You said a mouthful, Steph, but I'm gonna go back to this when you just talking about how moms are 24/7 and they're not the greatest. And when I think about my mom, like when I was younger, I was kind of like annoyed because mommy had to work, and I wanted mommy's time.
Yeah.
And as I got older, especially a woman having her own children, I understand the sacrifices that we had to make for our children. So because of that, when I look back at what my mom has done for me, it's like, wow, when that big day come, I always say financially, my mom will have not to worry about anything. But in the meantime, I still want to show her I do appreciate you. Sometimes as you get grown, you might bump heads because you got a different perspective, but you still you still speak to your mother with love. You still speak to her with respect, because at one point in time, she did everything and sacrificed for you so you can be the person you are today. So yes, I do agree with you. Like, we should get into the habit of doing it more. But I also understand it from an economic standpoint why they do these things, because this drives money into the economy. I get that part. But what I'm trying to tell the people, what I want the people to know, just don't let that one day, they say, oh, yes, that's that one day. No. Appreciate her, love on her, do little things. Oh my God, I think this was the cutest thing. And I'm like, he's only 6 years old. How would he know to do this? So my son, what he did, he took a few papers, right? And he created some arrows. And then he got to the big place where he left me the presents. So he said, Mom, come out. And when I come out, I see the little arrows. And he's like, follow the arrows. And when I go to the place where he got the presents, he drew me a picture. It's like a heart of me and him. And I'm like,
oh my God.
That right there was like,
oh my God.
Wow.
He melts my heart. I just want you to know, your son melts my heart.
I'm like, I hope when he's a man, he do this for his lady, but I think this too, moms, allow your son to do those things when you allow them to love on you. Even sometimes it might be a little bit annoying, but allow that, because that's going to show them to appreciate their woman and give their woman the roses that they deserve on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
And not just the one day, not just the weekend. If he's going to say, oh, mommy is stressed. My wife is stressed. Let me step in.
Yep.
Babe, I got this. Go sit down. I'm going to go wash the dishes. I'm going to do homework with the kids. People don't understand that homework. When you be sitting there, you be like, what's 2 plus 2? And they be like, 5. You be like, what? Do it again. Put your fingers out.
I'm laughing because, you bring me back to, and I agree with the sons. Like, when mothers, I look at my husband, and he had such a great example of a mother, because she did everything with him. He was the baby in the family, and she taught him how to be loving and kind and, do things. Like, she would do things with him and he would do things with her. And that carried throughout his life. Like this day, he's doing dishes because I'm, tied up. But that's the thing. Like, we don't realize, I'll say as mothers, sometimes we don't realize the impact we have on our kids' lives.
Yes.
When they grow up, what they do, because they mock and mimic what they learned and what they do as children into adulthood. Now, I know we're talking about mothers and giving mothers roses, and I'll say this. I agree with you every single day. And we know there's mothers that are going through challenges, and there's so much going on in their lives. And sometimes we may feel like we're not getting the love or the support at that moment. And it's hard for us to understand that as children, because we're always needing that. And as you get older, you start realizing, and as an adult, that it wasn't for not loving you. It was the fact that there was so much going on in their lives. And it's hard for children to understand that. So I think for mothers, I'll say, take 5 minutes, whatever it is. If a child is annoying you, they're annoying you because they want attention.
Yes.
Right? There's a level of attention they require, they need at that moment. Don't shush them off, only because at that point in time, they feel they're not being listened to, or that they're being disregarded.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, you have to obviously teach them, when is a good time, when's not a good time, all that stuff. As we evolve, as we grow as children into adulthood, we have to understand that every single day is a gift. We have a mother.
Yeah.
If we have a mother, it's a gift, because there's many people who don't have that in their lives. And it's hard because they don't get the ability to value that relationship with their mothers. So, when we say about giving them their roses and Mother's Day is coming up, it's not about the monetary value of anything you supply your mother.
Right.
A lot of mothers just want love. They just want their children to understand them. They just want someone to call them and say, hey, Ma, how you doing today? And my husband calls his mother every single day. Every single day. I text with my mom, like, we're on a text thing and, we text, but acknowledge that they're present while they're here. See them every so often. I know a lot of people live away or whatever. We have technology available to us.
Yes.
There is no excuse whatsoever for anybody not to be able to give your mother 5 minutes of your time every day if you have to, if not, a couple times a week or at the end of the week or what have you. We need to acknowledge them, and that's giving them roses. Absolutely. Because they invested so much in your life that all they want is just their children to love them and to know that they're still here and they're valued and they still care about them. And I see a lot of mothers as they get older and age and, children, they have so much going on in their lives. And I don't think they intend to not want to be around their parents or their mother or, to call them or acknowledge them. I just think they get so caught up in life that they forget that without their mother, they wouldn't have the life that they have.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And, so that look, don't make me start tearing up because, it really is. I've seen this throughout my life and it makes me sad. It really does touch my heart because mothers are so special. And we have to really just show them that we still value them every day of our lives. Absolutely. Because without them, we wouldn't be here.
And I'm going to piggyback on something you said. So you was mentioning the part where your husband takes this time to speak and call his mom. So as I grew up, like you said, I understood the value of my mother. We used to talk every day. I'll call her or she'll call me. If we miss a day, we're text. And I said, that's a beautiful thing because I know there's a lot of people who do not have that type of relationship with their parents. Sometimes they are still stuck on maybe a resentment because of what happened in the past. But I'm here to tell you, if you're for anyone that's in that resentment mode, you're not speaking to your mom, you're not on speaking term. I just want you for a second just to sit back and just evaluate, in that time of your mom's life, maybe the things she had to do and say, you know what, I can forgive her. Because I had to forgive my mom because, like I said, I felt like she wasn't there, but I understood my mom had to work. Yeah. But what she did was she created a beautiful home for us that my grandma stepped in and she took care of us. But I had to step back and said, my mom was out there making a way for us. She was out there providing for us. So I was able to get past that. So I'm saying to anyone that's in that mode, I hope you can just step back and just forgive your mom and just start off with the baby steps because that's all it takes, because you don't want to be boo-hooing at her funeral, but for 10, 15 years, you didn't speak to her.
Thank you. You know what? Oh my God. So I'm going to tell you a quick conversation I had with somebody, a friend of mine. She was having some difficulties with her mother. She said, I can't even stay in a house more than 24 hours with her. Like we just, at each other's throat, whatever. I can't deal with it. I said to her, can you think back and understand what it is, your challenges with your mother? Have you ever sat down and had a conversation with her and let her know how you feel about how she treats you? Because it was something about the way she was being treated. Right. And I said to her, I said, rather than trying to distance yourself from her, why don't you sit down and have a candid conversation with her and because some people are who they are and they don't realize the impact they have on other people, the way they speak to them, the way they treat them. I said, let me tell you something. If you sit down and have a conversation with her and be very candid about how you feel, how you perceive how she speaks to you and how you internalize it. If you let her know how it makes you feel, that conversation is going to take a whole different light.
Right.
And it may make her feel some kind of way. She might be like, I never realized I
Right.
made you feel that way. So I
Right.
agree with you. I'm like, for those that are having challenges with their mothers, and, you know, I've had my challenges with my mom, but, you know, she's always been by my side. As a teenager, of course, you know, I've always, you know, I knew everything at that point.
Girl, please.
Okay. I knew everything at that point.
Let me tell you something. One time my mother said, you want to be grown? Okay. You think your friends are your friends? Okay. And I'm not afraid to share this story because I tell her all the time. I said, okay. I came home one day being out all night with my oldest son father. I come home in the living room. So a whole bunch of black bags. My grandma was like, yeah, your mama said, get out. I said, what?
What?
Your mama said, get out. So I took my stuff. Tell me why for 2 months I was bouncing around from house to house.
Wow.
I had to feel it. My mom always used to tell me, she said, nobody is going to love you and take care of you like me. So I had to learn that at the age of 16. And still to this day, like when I think about stuff like that, it keeps me grounded because sometimes, like you said, you bump heads. I told people I'm a little version of my mother. We're just alike because that's why sometimes we bump ahead. But like you said, when I sat down with her and I explained to her, well, this is how it makes me feel when you do that, because I was able to communicate. I think people lack the communication part. And I always say this.
Yes.
If you can go to other people and tell them what the other person problem is, but you don't go to that person, you're the problem. Now, I also, and this is certain different circumstances, I understand some mothers are very toxic and you can't have that relationship.
Right.
I get it. So sometimes it might not be your biological mother you have that relationship. It might be your stepmom, or it might be someone that you look as to a mom, whoever you look up to as a mom. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, is it worth being mad? Can I just sit down and have a conversation and just clear the air? Because again, you want to give them their roses because I'm pretty sure they did some stuff, some sacrifices. That's why sometimes some mothers, when kids do something like we might snap. I'm like, do you know what I did? Do you?
Do you realize where you came from and everything I did for you?
And I regret it, but I did it for you. You know, some kids, they would never know. But it's like I had a conversation with my oldest son. I had to tell him some things too. So he gets it. And I appreciate the little stuff that he does. So I'm going to share a moment that he did for me. So one day I was taking him to an outdoor movie drive-in, right? And we stopped at the gas station just to get a couple of stuff, and we're at the counter. And I was about to plug my money. He goes, I got this.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's your boy. I love it. That's incredible.
I love it. So,
that's nice.
Sometimes, you feel overwhelmed as a mother.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like your children don't hear you, but please believe me, they're listening to you. But like you said, Steph, it feels great when you can just cut out time for your children. And I remember one time, and juggling is it's hard. That's why you got to create that balance. So, as a mother, I'm trying to work a 9 to 5 hours doing my business at that time. And it's like, how do I make time to squeeze my kids into a picture? And I had to figure it out. Even if sometimes if it requires for you to wake up early, which some mothers do, just so they can get their time. But moms, I have to tell you this too. So even though you're carving out time for them, make sure you carve out some time for yourself.
Oh, yes.
Because you got to give yourself roses, because sometimes
we
beat ourselves up. So it is so important how you speak to yourself. So I got to ask you, ladies, how are you speaking to yourself, especially when you make a mistake? Are you giving yourself grace? Because you got to give yourself grace.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think we're so hard on ourselves.
Yes.
Because we have expectations of others that we put on ourselves as well. I'm very hard on myself at times, and I have to sometimes say, you know what?
Guilty.
You know what? It is what it is. As I get older, I have to say, and nobody's going to believe me, I'm going to be 50 next year.
Wow.
But I'm going to be 50 next year. But, and we're having a party, by the way. We're going to an island, just saying. But, I think about my life, and I think about all the challenges I've gone through. And I always say to myself, as a younger person, I was very hard on myself. But now as I get older, I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. It's life. You learn from your mistakes. Right. And I'm going to say this for mothers out there that, again, we talk about, being there for your kids. Another thing that you can do, my dad actually used to do this. Write a note to your child. Leave it on their bedstand. Let them know that you're there, because they may feel like you're busy, you're going to work, you're all tied up and you don't have time for them. Leave a note for them. Right. Let them know that, hey, so-and-so, I love you. Mommy loves you. I'll see you soon or whatever. Have a good day. Try that.
Right.
Because, children, when obviously they have to know how to read, but I'm just saying, they look at that and they're like, oh, wow. Like it'll put a smile on their face. Think about how you feel if somebody did that to you. It will put a smile on your face. These are tactics, I say, that are beneficial to build those bonds. Right. And to keep those bonds. And going back to what I was talking about with my girlfriend's mother, she said to me, because I said to her, I said, sometimes, you want your mom to talk to you a certain way, but yet you're not asking her or telling her how you're being affected by how she's speaking to you. Yeah. Some people sometimes are just act the same, don't realize how they come off. Right. And maybe it's a conversation with them. And she just literally said to me, she goes, you know what, Steph? She goes, I'm going to take your advice. She says, because I never thought about it that way. I need to sit down and have a conversation with my mother. And I say this because, again, to your point, we don't want to wait because life is short. Yes. We know what's been going on over the course of the last couple of years. People are sicker than they have been. And you don't know how many days are left on this earth. We don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow. Right. And if we don't have that ability to mend fences or at least acknowledge or communicate our concerns, even if you don't mend fences, even if you can't mend fences, at least you gave yourself the opportunity to speak. Right. And have the conversation, because at least you can say, I did try.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think people miss the boat, because they're afraid of trying to have the conversation, because they're afraid of what might come out of that conversation.
Right.
And you can't be. Nowadays, you just can't be. You just have to be vocal. You have to be open for feedback. You have to be open to communicating your feelings, right. Showing people you love them, treating them with kindness and grace. Treat yourself with grace as well, to your point. And give yourself roses every single day.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know tomorrow whether you're going to get those roses or not.
It's interesting that you say that. So before we leave, Steph, you said, tomorrow's not promised. And mm-hmm. you noticed, but not a lot of people may notice. Well, last year, my grandmother passed away. Mm-hmm. And prior to her passing away, I remember all the time, I was always busy out there, chasing money. Yeah. I was always on the road, always on the go. Maybe it was something pertaining to my job, my business, whatever. So sometimes I did miss out on certain timing with her. But when I did, I got to sit down with her. But last year it was different because I was full-time into my business, so I can make my schedule how I want to, so I can do things how I want to. So that felt good. But those prior years, I was fighting to get to this place where I'm at. And I'm like, I'm here, but now she's on her deathbed. But I did spend some time with her, and I did to speak to her and ask her questions. And I kid you not, those were the greatest wisdoms that my grandma gave me. So that's because I can't hear her voice no more. The things that she told me, I can just replay it in my head and just remember what she told me. And I just take that and I keep that. So because of that, it's like, now is you and your mom. So I'm saying to myself, I got to make sure that I communicate with her. You know how they said when you're with a spouse, don't go to bed angry? Yes. You should also do that with your parents too. Don't be angry, because anything can happen. Like you said, they may not wake up tomorrow, but at least if you had a solid, great relationship, you can put a smile on your face. I appreciate, because I spent time with them. Yeah. I gave them the roses while they was alive. I told them that I appreciate them. So just make sure you tell your loved ones that you appreciate them. So we're almost running out of time, but Steph, was there anything additional you want to tell the audience?
I just, for me, you actually hit a note when you said about you were trying to live life, right? Trying to make money to get to where you are. And parents do that as well.
Right.
They're doing, it's the same. It's a revolving door. It's this constant web that we all are fighting to get through life. And I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to actually apologize to my parents for not constantly giving them roses that they deserve every single day of their life. So I'm going to say that because I don't do that, and I should. But I'm going to say this, if I can acknowledge that I have an opportunity to do that, everyone else should acknowledge that they have an opportunity to do that. And don't just talk about it, do it, try. It's hard sometimes because we may not be used to doing it.
Right.
But we need to start doing it. We need to start, whether it's a text message, whether it's a quick call, whether it's a letter, whether it's, whatever it is, going and visiting, get on the internet, get on Zoom or whatever have you. Just take 5 minutes out of your day and just say, hey, Ma, hey, Dad, how you doing? How's everything going? They want to hear from you. And that's one thing my father always says to me. He goes, I don't want anything from my kids. I just want to hear from you. I just want to know that you're okay.
Right.
And that you know that I'm still here. And that's why it's so important. And I'm coming from the point of my parents saying that. I could just imagine what other parents are thinking and not saying to their children. Right. So to every child out there that has a mother, father, whoever, give them their roses every single day. If you can.
Absolutely. And
give them every day.
I just want to commend you for even just acknowledging what you did and just apologizing, because so many people can't do that. This is another show topic, but people have a hard time communicating. Yeah. I don't know what the fear is, but we're going to tackle that in another show. Yeah. But Ms. Stefania, how can the audience reach you if they want to reach you?
Oh my God. All right. So you can reach me at stepfire@thesistership.com or 570-630-0342. I am your girl, Stefania, and I also am an operator, CEO of Steph's Blings and Things, paparazzi accessories. So you can reach me there as well. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm everywhere. You can find me anywhere. Stefania, Queen of Bling, or Steph's Blings and Things. You can find me anywhere, right on any internet social media page. And I just gave my information. So if you're interested in reaching out to me, that's how you do it.
Thank you, Stefania. I appreciate you, and everyone.
I love you.
Continue to follow us here at the Lady K Chat Podcast. Please like, please comment, and please definitely share, because I'm pretty sure somebody needed to hear about roses today because they deserve it. They are really deserving. But catch us here on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and also on our website. So we will see you next Tuesday here again at 6 p.m. Take care, everybody.
Love you, Lady K.
Lady K.